In this section, we're going to begin to talk about solids specifically and solid tools in Rhino 3. Now my solids menu here has a lot of shapes that I can use as solids. And again, what a solid is a surface or polysurface that encloses a volume. In other words, the least complex version of a solid would be a sphere. It's a single surface that encloses a volume. Now, a lot of the solid tools can also be found up here in my solid pull-down menu. We're going to be talking about Boolean, union, difference, and intersection, extrusion, fillet, capping. My types of solids can be found here again: torus, pipe, tube, paraboloid, ellipsoid, and those can also be used from the pull-out submenu down here. A torus would be another example of a solid that encloses a volume that is actually a single surface. And any polysurface that encloses a volume can also be a solid. For example, a square or box, paraboloid, cone, and truncated cone. Now these may or may not be solids depending on the settings. For example, here, my cone is capped on the end, which makes it an enclosed shape, which makes it a solid. If I were to use my explode tool, delete the cap, this is suddenly a simple surface. The main important distinction between a polysurface and a solid, for example with my cone here, would be that if this was left as a polysurface, or my cube, which as you can see of course is a polysurface, transform tools such as twist, bend, and taper will not work on a polysurface. My cone will work just fine with the bend tool now because I've deleted the end cap. So in other words, the only solids that will work with a transform tool would be a torus or a sphere. The reason is these are not actually polysurfaces. Even though they do enclose a volume completely, they're made up of one single surface, which means they can be bent or transformed by the transform menu tools.